Welcome to part 45 of building our tiny house, and it is another day, another problem to solve. As you saw in the past video, we did address the foundation of the building, well, what will hold up the building and support it even more than the supports we already have added, the foundations. So we built those little pads, and today's the day where we are going to build on those pads the support that will hold it up.
So first thing we're going to do is remove all the frames around the concrete so we can reveal the concrete and see exactly how nicely it is, how good Desma did the compaction, and if there's any bubbles or cracks, but I think they look really good and solid. So let's remove them all and see how it looks.
I think that is pretty professional.
Should I put the screw back and leave them as frames?
Yeah. There's almost no air gap.
Oh yeah, that's really good. Feels solid.
Millie, what do you think?
This might take really deep.
This one goes like almost a meter down. That was like a lot of cement needed. So as you saw, we removed all 10 frames from the pads, and I'm actually pretty proud and impressed how good they actually look. They look pretty perfect and professional without any air gap on the sides. So now the tricky part is to get the bricks and see how many bricks we're gonna need for each pad, because each of them have a different height from the floor to the building. They're not all straight level. So what we're gonna do now is go get some bricks. I don't know, did we mention that we're putting bricks? I think so. So we're gonna get the bricks, dry fit them, see roughly how many we're gonna need, because we're also putting a wood. So let's just figure all of this out and get to bricklaying. Gonna go another brick, you think? I think with cement that should add up.
Yeah, that's just one out of all of them.
So here we have dry fit the first tower. Don't worry, we will cement in between. We just want to see how many roughly we're gonna need. And you can see that we have this gap. Of course, this one's gonna get screwed on at the top. So we hope that this is kind of gonna get filled up with the cement and in between. So yeah, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 bricks. So what we're gonna do now is get 10 bricks for each pad, put them next to it so we can bricklay quickly, so we don't need always to drive and get the bricks. So as you can see, we have finished one little tower that is gonna support the tiny house, and we also have this wood that is gonna go on top. Sadly, this is a problem that we knew we're gonna come across, is that they're not gonna fit perfect. So we will have to add an extra wood, since, you know, we can theoretically cut the bricks and slice them, but it's not gonna be perfect. It's gonna be really time consuming, and they're not gonna be straight as we can cut, of course, a slice of wood. So let's just hope that kind of this is gonna be the biggest hole that we'll have to fill up with bricks, because yeah, this wood is not gonna be, of course, this size. It's gonna go all across from one end to another, and it's just gonna support and put the weight on the little brick tower. So yeah, one is done, 9 more to go. Yeah, but they do look nice.
Yeah, once we clean them with the brush as well,
yeah,
they're gonna look really nice.
I mean, they look really nice already. I'm gonna do a bit more filling up while David is starting off with the next one. So I hope it's gonna do its job. I mean, it should. This foundation goes quite deep in, then this is gonna be supporting it, and then the wood on top, it should be all good.
So we have finished with one full side. All of them are done, and the last one we actually did 5 brick levels instead of 4 like the rest, which bothers me a bit, but it was much lower, so we had to do it. And also it does mean that the wood is gonna barely fit. We need to grind. Most of these we need to add like a small shim below, so it might not look the most professional. It's gonna be like one of those trailer sit downs that you sit the trailer on top, so they kind of do this similar kind of look. Let's just put it on the bricks. But I think it's gonna be solid, rock solid. You're not gonna really be feeling any problem. The house is gonna not move anywhere. These ones are not going any deeper. So let's go now do the other side quickly and be done with the foundation reinforcements.
Yeah, this took actually 2.5 hours. And the other side actually has also 1 brick higher, so
that's might take a tiny bit more. And we are on the end of the daylight, so
okay, let's hurry up.
Hurry up. Good, Bessie. Good, Bessie.
I did it on the first try.
Pretty wide you are, but it's okay.
So we have also finished the other 5 and the sun has not set yet, which means that this side went faster, even though it had one extra layer on top. I guess we just really got into it, and I also built a tower by myself, and the rest I was just helping David clean up the back and just make it kind of beautiful. We are not really putting a lot of effort in it because the cement we're using, well, not the cement mixture has gravel with stones inside, so it's not the easiest for beauty work to work with it for filling up gaps, but I think it's more than enough, and I think they look pretty beautiful and professional. And as we were discussing with David, wish we would have done that for the whole foundation poles and not this sideways pipes that we did. So yeah, we're learning from our mistakes. I think those look nice, but we're not going to be ending the video here. We actually have to wait 1 or 2 days for them to harden, and then we're going to be adding the wood, and that's going to be it. And hopefully that's going to be securing the whole tiny house from kind of not really sinking or falling apart, but making it structurally more better. So yeah, see you in 2 days. have 2 days later, and as you saw, David cleaned them off. We did actually want to do another like beauty layer in front, but I think they turned out really nice, and I really like the look of them. And I think what adds to it is that they are used bricks, they're old bricks. Not too old, but they're used, so they add a bit of a character instead of just being new bricks. I think it turned out pretty nice, and I really like those little towers. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add the wood on top, because of course like this it doesn't do anything. So we're gonna add a wood across from each little beam and sit it on that, and that on 5 times on each side. So let's go get the wood, cut it up and put it on, and that should be it of securing the building. Well, the tiny house. Well, not so tiny house. Looks pretty good. As you can see, we have cut and assembled all our support beams. They look pretty professional. They look like a 10 by 10s, and most of them also have the grain opposite way. That's the strongest way apparently. Let's now get the integrator and integrate them.
It is a few hours later and the wood is nice and dry, I think, and we are able to now attach it. We're going to be using these screws here, so pretty big screws, to just screw them on, and realistically they don't need to be attached since their pressure is going to go down, but we need to keep them in place just so they don't fall out when there's no pressure. So hopefully this will go pretty quick and easy, but yeah, we'll see. The hardest part is of course the foundations are all random height, which means we need to put something below between the bricks and these beams to kind of space, you know, to cover up that space. That is something we can't really avoid easily without making precise bricklaying and precise foundations all out kind of the same level. And even then you're still not guaranteed to be, you know, really correct. You should just do foundation straight from the beginning, really nice. It's okay, we're learning with our mistakes. So let's now go and do these, install these beams, and yeah, have a nice secure house.
And that's why we wanted to wait 2 to 3 days before we do that, because then we would smack the whole tower down. So we wanted to be sure that the cement has, you know, cured fully before we do that.
Well, that's going to be the weight now transferred over right onto these foundations.
Nice.
Together with the old foundations, of course. All working
Together. So we have to attach it with small screws because the big drill battery is not charged.
It
so
was
we can
charged, but it just died. I don't know what happened.
So we can measure this little gap.
Yeah.
It's so stupidly tiny. That's why you couldn't, like, what do you slice a brick? Then we should have done more cement, but you can also not calculate that in. So stupid. That's a nice one, huh?
Yeah, perfect.
Inspector Evie?
we are done attaching all the beams. They are on nice and beautiful, and they're really tight between the brick and the beam, so that is really good. And now let's put on the screws. The battery is finally charged. Let's hope we can manage to put the rest that we need to. So let's quickly do that. So we are finished. It is all nice and attached. It looks really good and it's really tight. Of course, the whole house just feels much more stable. I am way more happier now and much more confident to put as much weight as we can on these walls. Of course, not as much weight, but as much as it needs. And we are gonna be now ready for the facade, because that is quite heavy. All the furniture inside, everything just adds up quite quickly. And this is gonna guarantee no problem. These can hold a lot of weight. This would be no problem. And we have, of course, 5 per side. So I think that's pretty good. I would love to have the bricks all the way through, but that's gonna be so much work and a lot of cost on bricks, because that, of course, will require hundreds, if not thousands of bricks. Well, not probably thousands, but hundreds of bricks to go all the way through, because this, I think, was alone was 100 bricks. So just imagine going all the way through. Actually, yeah, that does sound like thousands. I think it would look really nice all the way through with brick, but that would be expensive, and also something you would need to definitely do with a level foundation, and then brick lay everything nice and even, and then set the house on top of it. Definitely not how we can do it now. This is a good, easy fix up, and in theory, the house is perfectly fine as is. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Let us know what you think, if you're happy with us securing it a bit more and having no doubts about it falling down. But yeah, hope you enjoyed. I'm gonna see you in the next one. Bye bye. Facade has to go on. And my ass got cold.